This one. And I wondered about this. Let me tell you, there was 10 persecutions. Christians were murdered from the time of Christ, from Nero, until 313. I think it was Strydom, I'm not sure. 10 times Christians were murdered because the Caesars and the Roman emperor said, I am God. You must go to the temple and you must burn incense and you must revere me. How much time? 5 minutes. Good. And you must revere me as God. Almost between 1.5 and 2 million Christians died because they refused to bow down to the emperor. But they were murdered and killed in their millions. In the meantime, the Quran eventually tells us, we never killed the Messiah. The Messiah was never killed. He was never crucified. It was only made to appear that Jesus was crucified and he died. Now this is where I say, thank you for this verse in the Quran, because the Quran tells me that everything you read in the New Testament is 100% right. It is somebody else that deceived the Christians. Somebody came and they put a hologram. They showed how he was tortured. They put this hologram on the cross and they flogged him and they killed him. And they went and they buried him. And more than 30,000 people witnessed that. And 3,000 people saw that Jesus was alive afterwards. But they were deceived. Who's this deceiver that did that? How can God allow 1.5 million Christians to be killed and murdered because they believed Jesus Christ was God? Because he said so, and it was revealed, and he had a resurrection, and he was crucified. And the Quran affirms, you didn't see something wrong. You saw what everything you saw was right. It's just that we deceived you a little bit. Who was it? Who did that? Who had the power to do that? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the questions that I'm asking. I'm not making any allegations or whatever. These are the questions that I'm asking. Remember, prophets are gods. I would like to answer, if I have time left, Jesus never claimed to be God. I wonder what it means. John 10 verse 30. I and my Father are one. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. Jesus answered him, many good works have I showed you from my Father, for which those work do you stone me? And the Jews answer him, saying, for a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy. And because thou, being a man, makest thyself God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, anybody tells you that this in the New Testament is corrupted because Constantine put it in there, you tell him that it's not true, because the oldest manuscript of this might be in the 4th century of the complete New Testament. But John, in the Bodmer Papyri, is dated 70 to 120 years after Christ. Now that is about, 10 years after Paul, to make it 50 years after Paul. And John, the Baptist, would have had that papyri also. There's many, I've got many references here in John that Jesus actually called himself God. He didn't say, I am God. I think it's unfair to say that Jesus must have written there in the New Testament, I am God. He came out, healed people, raised people from the dead. He did good, and people knew he was God. And he said, I and the Father are one. What more do you want? That's the Trinity. That's how I saw it in your Quran. Okay. Prove one verse that's wrong in the Quran. I'm not going to do that, but I just want to tell you that I think some people might use, where is it now? Surah 18, verse 83 to 86. It talks about Zulkarnain. And Zulkarnain went to the west, the end of the world, and he went to the east. Why didn't he just go around the world? And then all the translators of the Quran tells me that Zulkarnain was a Muslim, and that was Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great wasn't a Muslim, ladies and gentlemen. He was a pagan Greek. He believed in Zeus. So I can't throw the Quran away because an error like this, but I can tell you something. There are errors in the Quran. Now you must go and investigate and be honest about this and sort it out until we understand what's going on, because I don't understand. 1 Timothy 6 verse 16 says, it describes God as the Father. Same book. Go to 1 Timothy 3 verse 16. And God was manifested in the flesh, justified in the spirit, and seen by angels. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.